when we're at an intersection of our life, how do we know what the right choice is? Well, every time we make a choice, we have to ask ourselves what I want. So I go to a restaurant, for example, and I'm shown a menu of what to eat. There's 100 choices, not just an intersection of 2 paths or 3 paths, but 100 paths. Well, I'm going to choose what I want to eat based on what I want the end result to be. If my goal is I should lose weight, I'm going to choose my meal based on calorie content. If my goal is I should get a lot of protein, I'm going to choose my meal based on the protein content. If my focus is my meal should leave the smallest footprint on the earth, the most non-violent ahimsa meal, I'm going to choose not only vegetarian, vegan, of course, I'm going to choose things that have been grown organically, grown ideally locally so they weren't transported too far. These sorts of ways I'm going to choose. But I have to know where I want to end up at the end of the meal before I can decide how to choose what to eat. So in our lives, it's the same question. And it's really tragic because we end up in these points where you could go left, you could go right, you could go straight. And sadly, we're really told that our life actually has a correct destination, that there really is a right answer. And that if I make the wrong choice, I'm going to end up messing up my whole life. And that's an incredible amount of pressure to be under. What we have to realize is actually what the goal of our life is to awaken. Not just intellectually, but experientially, our awareness, every cell of our being, into the truth of who we are. And then, of course, the truth of who the universe, the divine is. It doesn't matter which order we get it in, because they all tend to come simultaneously. If you really get one, you get most of it. And to keep opening layer after layer after layer until, in the example that we speak about frequently, like an onion, you keep peeling layers, and at the end you actually get to the point of realizing there's nothing. Or alternatively, there's everything. If I had a cup, and my cup was a jar, and my jar was full of air, and I break the jar, well, what am I left with? Either nothing, because I no longer have a jar of air, or everything, because instead of only having a jar, now I have all the air. And it doesn't really matter which way we look at it. Different spiritual paths emphasize going into states of emptiness or fullness, but they're the same. And so the minute we realize that actually our goal is to know that, then it doesn't matter, really, whether we turn left, whether we turn right, whether we go straight, as long as who we are is unfolding. And then, of course, as who we are is unfolding, the decision unfolds automatically. Because very frequently there are paths that are more conducive to our own unfoldment. And as we unfold, like smoking while you do yoga, you no longer have to decide oh, I'm not going to walk the path of smoking, or I'm not going to walk the path of drugs, or I'm not going to walk the path of promiscuity. I just have to focus on my own yoga, and then suddenly, it's not even a choice. I'm no longer at a crossroads. But rather than taking every one of our crossroads as a right decision or a wrong decision, and this is my life and what's going to happen, to focus more on who is making the choice. Can I understand the who? And if I do, then whichever way I walk, I'm going to walk it the right way. Whichever way I walk, there's going to be opportunities for more and more unfoldment. And typically when I know who, then I tend to know what and I tend to know how. But trying to figure out what without knowing who is the crisis that so many of us find ourselves in. As though somehow there were a formula that you could just toss a dice or put things into a calculator or an equation, and it would spit out what we're supposed to do. What we're supposed to do is unfold. And as we unfold, the rest, of course, unfolds along with it.